welcome back to the Co-OpCast. I'm here with you guys, the Baron 72, here with Carter CDC and Soy Sauce. We're happy to be back with you guys with another Player 4 episode. And we're here. This is a actually really exciting episode for us. We have a guest that we aren't normally affiliated with. Not family, not somebody that we know very well. His name's Andrew here. Say hi, Andrew.
Yeah, I'll introduce myself. So my name's Andrew, born and raised in Los Angeles, California. Lived here till I was about 18, went to school down in LA, moved to Arizona for a couple years, and recently came back because of the whole COVID pandemic. Let's see. I was pretty big into esports for quite a while. Now my hobbies have kind of transitioned back into investing. I did a lot of it when I was younger in the stock market and stuff like that, and as well as playing a little bit of RuneScape. So yeah.
So before we get too far into this, we just want to kind of tell how we met and how we started interacting and wanted to talk. So if you play RuneScape, and I know Ryan listens once in a while and he'll appreciate this, one of our past guests for you, Andrew, since you listened to that episode. We were just barbarian fishing, and I literally just shouted out to everybody, he's like, who here likes golf? And Andrew here started talking back to me, and we just started chit-chatting back and forth. Eventually started talking about the podcast, and here we are, just playing RuneScape. Couple bros playing RuneScape. Now we're recording together.
Man, I think that's hilarious. I think it's hilarious because I've played RuneScape a lot in my life, and I've talked to a lot of people, but it's never gone this far to be able to do something like this with someone that you meet on a game like RuneScape. So I think that's just awesome, especially with barbarian fishing, because it's just a good time there. And it's just funny that you can just bump into anyone there.
It's so true. You know, when I was doing esports pretty heavy, one thing I noticed was that collaborations were far and few in between. And it was so unfortunate because there's some really cool people out there, but people do get egos really quickly because, they see their live stream numbers go up, or, they win a certain match and they just get these egos. And so when I saw you guys, doing this type of podcast, and when he, was I guess advertising it in a sense, it was cool because he's just, plain and simple, no ego, no nothing. Just, hey, you ever watch any podcasts? You should totally check this out. And okay, why not? I'm not doing anything. I'm fishing a barbarian village, the fuck, or wherever it is. I don't know if it's Barb's Village, but yeah. And so it kind of came about, and sure enough, now we're here, right? What is it? A day later? That's pretty crazy.
Literally a day later.
For sure, man. So when we were talking with you, we were just wanting to you just seemed really ready to go and everything like that, and it made me excited to record this. And I just wanted to ask you first thing, right out the gate, what made you want to record with us?
Honestly, so that interaction at Barbarian Fishing was pretty sweet. I saw you seize the opportunity, and there's not a lot of people like that out there. You just seize the opportunity to advertise your podcast. No shame about it, just very plain and simple, ego free. And I was like, you know what? I fuck with that energy. And for some reason I was like, hey, that was something that esports was lacking a lot. And it's cool to see that someone in the RuneScape community was out there just trying to push his cool stuff. And so for me, I respect that. I respect that kind of grind. It's a very casual grind. It's just something that, you're enjoying something you're doing and you're just slightly advertising it. And so it made me kind of interested, what are these guys actually about? After watching kind of your podcast and getting to know you guys for the past couple of minutes, hearing about your guys' stories a little bit, it was cool. And so the more that I got to know your podcast, and I actually watched a couple more, the more I got to know you guys' personalities. And that's when I was more incentivized to continue reaching out. And I don't really have a direct answer other than it was an ego-free thing, and I fuck with people like that.
Well, I'm interested in your esports because I know you've said it a few times as we were talking before we began, and I'm just interested, what exactly have you done, or what have you been involved with that?
Sure. I originally started back in, I don't know, the days of middle school with my friends, just playing Call of Duty for fun. I think most people did that probably. Friends and family, and trash talking here and there. And it kind of just turned into wanting to play with better people, which turned into just playing with competitive players. And then that turned into, to get to more serious level. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Optic and all that. You got to kind of pay to play in a sense. And so eventually being able to find that money, getting sponsorships, building content creators around myself, like live streamers and YouTubers, and just being around that whole world really, it really made me feel alive, especially while I was young, and so going through that whole journey was really, really fun. And throughout the entire time, casually playing video games too, and sometimes even competing like in Fortnite and stuff like that, Valorant a little bit. But it kind of brings it around full circle, and that's kind of, I guess that's just kind of like the history, competing in COD tournaments, competing in Fortnite tournaments with people. We had a team house at one point, which is really cool, like a content team house. And
so you're saying yourself was a player, like you played?
I didn't play on my team. My players are obviously better than myself. But there's some definitely Fortnite events where I placed pretty well. Like, I wouldn't say like top 5, but I think we placed like top 30. Me and like one of my buddies. So I definitely wasn't bad, but I wasn't like best in the world or anything personally.
Gotcha. So like, how big were the teams that you? Because I'm assuming since you say my players, you manage the teams and things like that.
Yeah, we our Fortnite team was by far the best. We had some people that were getting, $30, $40, $50,000 a year just playing. And that was like their prize winnings. I think probably like, I don't want to like come to you guys with a bragging point, but our stream roster was like my favorite part of the org because I personally loved streaming at the time. And we had some very successful streamers who were, doing it full time and had some serious connections within the industry. And it made a lot of things possible. It made a lot of money come in. And I'm not necessarily focused on money, but it made, the money brings opportunities, and that brings along sponsorships, and being able to go to something like a TwitchCon or back when like there were the Call of Duty events, like going to Anaheim and stuff like that, and having not only people recognize you, but being able to wear like a sponsor's name on your jersey and just walking around, it brings about a different kind of feeling, and it's definitely a feeling of happiness and pride. But unfortunately, and this is something I actually wanted to talk to you guys about, and I was going to surprise you with this, there was a downfall to it all. And I don't know if you guys are interested in hearing about that.
Definitely.
Sure, man. Go ahead.
I was, how old was I? I think I was 20. And I was on top of the world, right? Like my players were winning. My streamers were getting tons of viewers, like in the hundreds, if not thousands of viewers, like sponsors left and right. And money was flowing in. And all of a sudden, I made a mistake. We had already established a Fortnite team house. It was in Virginia on like 0 ping. And I was trying to expand the content side. My mistake was that I was still in negotiations with the house, with my real estate agent, in order to get the house. And I had claimed online that I actually owned it. That was my crucial mistake. I ended up getting severely, I guess, cancel cultured, if that makes sense. And I mean, overnight, like this dude had posted these videos about me. And I mean, there's tons of, lies in these videos just to try and tear me down. But the one truth was that I had made that mistake. And because of that, the entire empire fell apart, and it was crazy. It was overnight. And then I tried to rebuild it. I took my time, to really reestablish trust with individuals who were questioning my methods versus what he was saying about me. And all of a sudden, one day overnight, this, I guess, hacker dude gave me a call, just randomly called me up on my phone. I answered. I was like, hello. It was like an area code from my location for where I live. I was like, hello. He's like, hey, if you don't want me to release your docs, which is all your personal information, then, basically do what I say. And I was like, who the fuck is this? Like, fuck off, hang up. Next day, wake up. All these people are tweeting at me. It's my personal social security number, all my bank accounts, info, my parents, all their stuff. Like, I'm talking amounts, credit cards, numbers, everything like that, all posted online. Oh man, my heart fucking sank. And because of that, of course, I had to go back to my parents and tell them. They're pissed. They're like, fuck this shit. Like, get off the internet. Initial reaction, a little bit of a, I guess just over dramatization. But what ended up happening was that hacker, he had seen this charity like live stream I had done. I don't know if you know the porn star Mia Malkova.
No.
So, okay. Well, I did this charity live stream, and she had directed a lot of attention towards it, and we got it trending on Twitter. And as a result, this hacker had seen it, and he was just having fun. He's just like, he wanted a shout out, and that was kind of his payment for him to take down my information offline. And so what this guy didn't realize was that I went back to my investors and I told them what exactly had happened, because I didn't want their information out there as well. And I ended up giving him a shout out, but at that point it was too late. And so everything kind of fell apart. And so one of the topics that I'd suggested for everyone listening right now to these guys that I wanted to talk about was what life was like after esports as well. And how people can build beyond that, because there's a lot of pro players out there who, they'll make their 10, 20, 30 grand or whatever, 50 grand a year. But it's not sustainable. Everyone's reaction time slows down. People don't necessarily maintain the same audience or the same donations on their streams forever. And so that's kind of the story that leads to where I'm at right now in life, if that makes sense. So yes, those things did happen to me. They were a little bit of emotional roller coaster. I was a little bit down. I was very down for a while, very depressed. But it's kind of like, life is very good now. I've learned a lot. I've reflected a lot on that. So I'm going to pass it back to you. I don't know what direction you want to take it, but that's kind of my story with esports and gaming. And I still have a lot of friends in it, and it was good to me, but it's also very, very nasty to me. So yeah.
Oh man, that's crazy. I mean, thank you for sharing your story about that. But
For sure.
I just was a little confused at the beginning.
Sure.
I just wanted to know exactly what your position was. You were like, how high of a position were you? Because it sounds like you were in some sort of like a management position.
Yeah, I was like the CEO and founder, like the creator. My organization was called Regal.
It was called Regal.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I was like, me and a couple buddies made it, and then they ended up kind of dipping out very early on.
Okay.
Just to focus on real life things. One of them got married. One of them wanted to go be a bodybuilder, and so it was kind of left with me. If that makes sense.
No, that's really interesting. What year did you start that all?
2014.
2014.
September of 2014.
Oh man.
Dang, I was barely getting out of high school. So that's crazy.
I admire your ambition, man. It's pretty cool. They like
Thank you,
just
I
go out
appreciate
and
that.
get stuff done. I
Gotta
feel like
go
a lot
bust
of
the wall.
right. Yeah, man. I feel like a lot of people, right? Everyone kind of wants their voice out. They want to like do what they want, and and a lot of people are scared to do so. And I think it's admirable that you just went. We all served missions, and me and Colin served ours in Arizona, and where you were. And there's a saying that we always say of send it, just like send it, just do
Full
it.
send it, baby.
Yeah, full send it.
Yes, sir.
Send
Yeah, I appreciate that. And honestly, I didn't want to come on here and only share my story just to have it be depressed in a sense. I've shared my story with other people and other podcasts and stuff like that, but I wanted it to be an uplifting thing, if that makes sense. Like I really
Yeah.
wanted it to focus on the future is very, very bright, if that makes sense.
Because it seems like you've done quite a bit more than like what I could even think of inside of the gaming area. Because with our podcast, our main focus is basically just like casual gamers coming in, listening and stuff. And it's really cool to be able to see the other side of it and everything like that. Because you did mention like Optic and things like that. And I'm an avid like watcher of Optic. I probably tune in once a month just to see how things are going and stuff. And it's
Heck
really
yeah.
cool to see somebody on the other side to be able to relate that to.
Mm-hmm. I'd say I'm a bigger supporter of FaZe. I know a lot of the FaZe guys. I don't know anyone in Optic, unfortunately. Never have.
Gotcha.
But I support Optic. I mean, Optic forever. Optic's a fucking legendary team. Like,
yeah, that's the YouTube channel I watched in high school. That was the team to watch for me. So
yeah,
that's why I've always watched him. Little Scumper Jumper.
That's awesome.
He's really fun.
Mm-hmm.
So how big were the teams that you're saying you're kind of over, you're CEO over? Because like with you saying Regal, I don't recognize that name straight off the top of my head. So it's not quite as big as like Optic and FaZe. Like how big were they?
We were very large in games that you probably didn't follow, like Gears of War. We had, let's see, at our peak, we were the 5th best team in the entire league, in like the World League. We were the arguably best team in Europe. It was always us and another team. So that was Gears of War. Fortnite, I mean, we were competing regularly, anywhere from like top 3 placements to, I mean, sometimes like obviously in the 20s or whatever. We had a CS:GO team in the Mountain Dew League. I don't know if you're familiar. I guess it goes like, I forgot what it's called, like the Pro League, basically like the top of the top. Then there's one more, and then I believe it's the Mountain Dew League. And so it's still a paid league. It's sponsored by Mountain Dew, and the players are paid for wins and stuff like that, and it's live streamed and all that. But you know, and then we had like COD players go to events and stuff like that. Actually, I do know a former Optic member. He was on one of our COD teams. I don't know if you know Mochila. His name's Steve. He's actually one of my good friends now, but he played on Optic, and then he ended up playing Call of Duty for us, along with a couple other cool people. We unfortunately didn't do as good as I'd like to have seen us do in like Call of Duty. But like I said, we were mainly focused on live streaming. We really were. At the time, sponsors were brand new to esports, these endemic and non-endemic brands, and live streaming, in my opinion, at that time, now it's different, but at that time, my opinion was that live streaming was like the way to go, if that makes sense.
Right. Would you say Call of Duty would be like one of the hardest games to go pro in? Because I think we've talked a bit about that in the past on some previous episodes of like just the whole pro scene in Call of Duty.
I would say League of Legends for the top of the
That
top.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Call of Duty is very difficult. After kind of experiencing that, and I don't mean to cause any hate here, the competitors at the top of Call of Duty, again, no hate here, in my opinion, are kind of like drug addicts, right? They pop lots of Adderall. They are competing at that level where every single player is like that. I wish they would roll out drug tests. I feel like Call of Duty would be more relatable in that sense, like the very top players. But I can't imagine it being healthy. So in a sense, yes, if your body can handle that and you can go through that and be traveling and be practicing 10 hours a day and be really competing with that much Adderall in your system, then yeah, I would say Call of Duty is definitely up there. But I'm sure every pro player of every game who's at the top is like that. So in a sense, maybe Call of Duty is the hardest. I wouldn't disagree with that statement. I'd also say that League of Legends is pretty difficult to get up there with. Dota. Like
would you say it's just the sheer number of people trying to become like pro in a game is what makes it hard, or is it really the skill?
This is going to be an interesting answer, but I would say it's connections. I really would, because if you can get in the right circles, it's one of those things where you surround yourself with people who you want to be like. And so if you're surrounding yourself with people like Scumpy and stuff like that, you're going to play to that level. Yeah, you might be a little bit worse, but you're going to see your skill jump from everyone, like the average 99%, to like up there. And I've seen that so many times where even in Fortnite, because I was like, I mean, I'm 23 now. Like at the time when I first started playing, I was probably 21. Like my reaction time is slower than these 13-year-old cracked out kids. But because I was constantly playing with my pro players, I was at that level, if that makes sense. So it really is all about who you surround yourself with and who you're practicing with. And those pro players, they're smart. They know how to get in they know how to get you in conversations. They know how to get you in, like for Call of Duty, they know how to get you in front of people, like in front of team captains and stuff like that, to really get you picked up.
That makes a lot of sense, because I feel like I'm a Radiant like player in Valorant, but these guys make me a silver because I have to play with them every time.
Screw you, man.
Just brings me down. I could be pro or whatnot, but
you carry one match.
The other thing that I would say, I'll try to keep it brief here, but is your mental, like not necessarily your mental health, but the way that you see things. In my experience, I saw a lot of pro players perform the same amount of repetitions, right? They kill just as many people in Call of Duty. They know the maps just like the back of their hand. It's all about the mental health and the way that you see yourself. And so one example of that was I had this kid, his name is Stan, and he was on, I'm still good friends with him actually. He's a lot younger than me. He's about 16 or 17 now, but this kid was just naturally gifted at video games. I'm talking like Radiant and Valorant. I'm talking like definitely could have qualified for the Fortnite World Cup. Like when this kid played Call of Duty, he dropped like, 80, 90, 100 bombs on like Nuketown. Like every single thing he touched, he was gifted. But as soon as something tilted him, as soon as something wasn't perfect, that's it. Game over. The day was done, on to the next day, because fuck it, the whole tournament's over in his mind. And it was sad to see, because I mean, the kid was naturally gifted. So mindset and connections, I think are really the most important there. And if you don't have those things, you can be the most talented individual in the world, but if you tilt at the slightest thing, you're not going to go anywhere, you know? And I think a lot of modern day Olympians and athletes know that in a sense, you know?
Yeah.
If you see me and Carter laughing, I was just said dang it, because I'm a very emotional person. So whenever something doesn't go my way, sometimes in video games I get very angry. And those that listen to the podcast that have played with me, they understand. So like I would never be able to get up there because my mental is way off the charts.
Okay, get in that Rocket League.
Let's go, dude.
Man, that game's hard. I suck at that game.
Oh, but it's so fun.
I've heard if you're good at it, it's fun. Like, I just don't understand the mechanics at all. I mean, I get it, but I don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. I put like 20 minutes into the game on my Steam.
Yeah, dude. I played like one game and I was like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah.
Touched the ball like twice.
So we all talked about, just since we're all in the esports mood and things like that. We just talked about in the couple episodes ago, like what video game we think we would go in if we were able to like excel in, and Rocket League was probably mine. And Carter said CS:GO. What did you say again, Sawyer?
I said RuneScape.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Pro PK. Like if I was good enough, I mean, I love Valorant and I'm pretty good at the game. I don't know. It's either that or Fortnite. I don't really know. Maybe Fortnite, honestly, because prize pool's higher and the following is ridiculous.
Seriously.
Yeah, probably go with that.
Gotcha. Yeah, if you've watched some of our game review on Valorant and stuff, we're all bought in on Valorant. So good answer.
Valorant's a great game, man. It really is.
It's amazing.
We're literally bought so many skins. It's bad.
Gonna go in debt.
Lost.
What do they call those things? Like the little boxes you undo for skins or whatever, like mystery box. I don't know what they're called. I never got into it, but yeah, loot box. There you go. Yeah, I hear a lot of people get roped into those and like addicted. It's like gambling, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
I feel like Overwatch is a big game that a lot of people get sucked into that with loot boxes.
Yeah. I had some friends who were very successful streamers who decided that they wanted to switch to Overwatch, and they love the game, but their stream audience died, unfortunately. Same with Destiny. Destiny was a big one for a while. Saw some people. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
We've talked about it a little bit because my brother really is big into Destiny, and we did a podcast episode with him, and he even says it's just whenever they make an update, you're starting back at ground zero and have to grind your way back up. Like it isn't like progressive and whatnot. It's really like a new game is out, and you have to. If you don't make this game your 100% of the time, you're not going to get anywhere in it. And so that's why I think it died in a lot of people's eyes. Is it wasn't a relevant game anymore because I can't keep up with the game.
Yeah, I played like Destiny 1 for like, I don't know, a couple months, and then I stopped. I went back to COD back then.
Same.
Yeah.
So
I got to play the new COD. Yeah, what's up?
I got a quick question for you. So with us being such a small channel and everything like that, and we Sawyer here streams once in a while based off of our channel. Being that you've talked about building streamers up and things like that, what is some advice that you'd give to smaller streamers on how they could build their channel up quicker?
I think most people invest into the wrong thing when it comes to streams. And I'm not here to judge you guys. I haven't studied.
We do it for fun. So we do it for fun.
Yeah.
So we might not even take what you say in account because
for
we're
sure.
just going to do what we do anyway.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, you got to do you at the end of the day. I noticed though a lot of people invest in the wrong things. They invest in these fancy equipments and fancy backgrounds. And I mean, to a certain extent, I used to as well. Like when I streamed, yeah, it attracts people for all of like 10 seconds and they're like, all right, the streamer sucks. The number one thing that I would recommend to people that I see, just not even with you guys, but just in general, people don't talk enough. The streamers an entertainer, right? You go to like a live show or like a performance, like a comedy thing, comedian's always talking. You know, the only breaks he has are to drink a sip of water while you're laughing. People don't talk enough. They get too focused in on the game they're playing, or they don't show enough emotion with their speech. They're very much vanilla and just kind of monotone and talking like this. And hey guys, how's it going? Hope you guys are doing good. I think that's the biggest mistake people make, is that they really have to be an entertainer. And you can have the shittiest background. You could be the shittiest whatever. And I mean, you see people like Nick Merckx, you know, looking like soy sauce over here with his forehead like this. And I mean, this man's pulling in hundreds of thousands of viewers, and I don't even know how much he makes a month, maybe 500 grand, and literally like snapback like that, like heads right here.
Yeah.
It's all about just how much energy you can bring to the table for people to be entertained. And I hate to say it like this, but I think the most successful streamers are naturals. I don't know how hard it would be for the individual to kind of fake that, if that makes sense. So that's on Twitch. On YouTube, it's a little bit different. Yeah, there's things like clickbait and stuff like that. But I think too, just the energy you bring, the kind of vibe that you bring, and you know, I noticed with your guys' podcast, you don't use video, and that's fine. But I noticed that there's a lot of podcasts out there that do. And so if you're going to have one that's without video, you need to kind of overcompensate the voice part. You know, you need to be as interesting as possible and talk about very interesting things and stuff like that. You know, I would
Makes
say
sense. 100% makes sense. Like those were all in the scope of like what probably I would think too. It's just putting the time and effort is sometimes difficult with it too as well, which makes sense. Like if you're gonna do this and want a big following, you're gonna have to put in time. Like you're gonna have to put in time and effort. And
Can I be honest with you
make
about
things
something?
up. So,
One of my buddies, he puts in the time and the effort to grind out Fortnite videos. I'm not going to say his name, but he really does, and his videos are good. But he never stops and thinks about what people actually care about, if that makes sense. His videos are good, they're funny, but they're average. You know, they don't stand out. He's not thinking outside of the box, and unfortunately, I believe every idea today has been taken. And so, unless if you're thinking outside of the box and just mixing it up, being wild, being different, you're just going to stay average, you know. And I'm not directing that at you guys. I'm just saying in general for people, you know, for your viewers or whoever. And I saw some of the best YouTube success with my friend. Her name's Amesy. She's a streamer, and she blew up on TikTok. She's probably the person I've seen grow the fastest on TikTok and Twitch. I think she's over 600K on Twitch now in less than a year, and over I think 1 mil on TikTok now in less than a year. And I knew this girl when she was tiny. I mean, I was way bigger than her at the time, and she literally brought her entire energy to the table each stream. And I feel so bad for this girl because she was always sick, right? She was always had a cold, always like lost her voice, but she'd be on the like stream just like yelling and screaming and laughing and like forcing herself to do this. And because she was always overreacting to shit, people really fell in love with her. And now she's full-time streamer, huge on TikTok. TikTok's average like 300 to 400K views minimum. Same with Instagram. Her streams minimum 1,000 viewers. I think she's pulling in over 20, 30K a month. So yeah, like you said, it is all about the time and the quality that you put into it, you know?
yeah. Then that's what I was meaning by like the effort is we can sit here and talk really monotone and just talk like this the whole time and not have anything interesting to talk about. Like I feel like there's something interesting here, but like that's not going to be interesting to most viewers of all time, right? That's just going to be interesting to the little following we have, and then whoever else wants to jump on and whatnot. But the real effort is being able to be like that. What was her name again?
Her name's Amy.
Amy, being like her, being able to bring that energy and bring that effort while putting in her time, because that's really what it was, right? Is that kind of where you're going?
She gave it her all, man. Yeah, that's where I'm going. Literally her everything, dude. I've never seen someone go that hard at something.
And people notice that. You can browse all through Twitch and YouTube, and you can just point the people that have the passion for it and put it all out there. You know, because if you just put out average content, you're always just going to stay average. So I think a lot of people can see that, and they find that in a certain channel, and they stick with it because they can see, you know, the passion that comes out of the content that they make. And so those people that do make it out there and get millions of views and followers, it's because, like you said, they put every effort into it, even if they're sick, whatever's happening in their life at the moment, they still perform and they put every effort into it because they know that if they put everything into it, sometimes you might not make it, and that's fine, but at least you did something. At least you can't say that you didn't try harder.
I think it was Kobe who said he worked out 20 years straight through the flu, through viruses, through tough days, easy days, you know, good days. Never stopped working out. And I mean, look at the man. Like, he's a king, right? Rest in peace, Kobe. But I think everyone to their own extent looks up to him in some way, even like the best basketball players like Jordan and LeBron and stuff like that. I have this friend Hannah. So she's very interesting. She's a part of FaZe now. I knew her before then. We actually met at a bar in Atlanta for a Call of Duty event. It was a gaming bar. It was really cool though. And she told me something very interesting about her life. She took the exact opposite approach. She wasn't lazy by all means. She, from what I understood at the time, she scheduled her life all around balance. And so she would never get burned out of something, and she always looked forward to what she was doing next because she limited herself. In her mind at the time, I'm assuming it's still the same, she would post one YouTube video a week, would stream maybe once or twice a week, but she'd allow her time to rest. So maybe on a Monday, she'd film her YouTube video. That's it. That's all she'd do. Maybe take her an hour. That's it. Tuesday, she'd start the edit. Wednesday, she'd finish the edit. Thursday, she'd just take a break from it and go live. Friday, now the edit's done, she's going to work on the thumbnail. Saturday, she's going to post it. Come Sunday, she rests, back to Monday. And what I saw from her was this insane level of balance in her life that directly translated to results. And now I believe personally, besides the FaZe Clan owners, she's the most successful FaZe member. And I bet you haven't even heard about her. She's like got these crazy sponsors. Her fans are diehard. Her streams are like, besides Nick Merckx, maybe she's probably the second most successful FaZe person. Her streams absolutely pop off. She got like the sponsorship with like the Smile Direct Club, like the teeth whitening company, G Fuel. I mean, you name it. She's out there killing it. And I mean, I don't want to be that guy, but I would assume her net worth is somewhere between 1 and 10 million from doing this grind for 7 years and just continuously living her life. She'd only spend maybe 2 hours a day working on this. And so she definitely balanced it to bring her best forward. I thought that was very impressive because it's like the kind of the opposite side of the spectrum versus the Kobe approach, and the Amy approach. What are your guys' thoughts on that? What do you think about balance?
I think it's pretty cool because like all three of us are pursuing different careers as well outside of content creation. Like we're doing this podcast mainly for fun. Like that's the big thing of it is it's a hobby. And like me, I'm going into teaching. I'm going to go be a teacher somewhere. And Carter here's a farmer and Sawyer's working with computers. So we're all doing something else, balancing our hobby with our career that we're probably going to have. And if this takes, like, we don't 100% expect it to, like, it's a hobby. That's where I'm kind of keeping it for now. But we all have other things in our lives too that kind of balance this out. This is kind of our free time, that relaxed time that you're talking about with Hannah, was to be able to sit here and have a little bit of fun with the recording.
That's fantastic. And I think you should keep it at that. And I'm sure you're learning something new every time.
We've learned so much since we first started.
Dude, our first
in, like, November.
Yeah.
If you look back, I think you could even, if you followed our channel, for those out there, I'm sure you've already noticed a difference in just the past few months. And I can't wait to see where we go in the next 6 months to a year,
Yeah, for sure. The learning curve will be great. In a good way, not in a bad.
Like our first couple episodes, we all had just like headset mics and stuff like that. And it was bad, man. It wasn't, it was just like, go listen to our first one. And we're all just like sound really awkward and really nervous about speaking and whatnot. It's just like, I feel like learning to calm down and being able to just like speak like you normally would speak to another human being is something I've learned how to do while talking in the microphone with other people listening after we talk about it.
For sure. It's one of those things that I guarantee you guys are the same way, where you just don't even notice the microphone. You're just having a conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's really cool. Yeah, for sure. Bring that attitude forward. Yeah.
And doing this small channel makes me really appreciate how much more there really is out on the internet. Like what we've been talking about in this episode. I don't think the three of us really think about how much really goes on in like the streaming world and the esports world. We're all from a really small town in Washington State, and it's just crazy to think of how much it's grown in the past 5-10 years. Just like you said, yours started back in 2014. Even since then, I feel like esports and streaming is just in a whole new spectrum. And I think I had no part of that back when we first started. like this channel and everything, and just talking with people like you really like helped me appreciate how much more there is out there.
It's a whole world, man. It really is. And I'm actually I was writing an audiobook. I don't really know if I'm still doing it, but the point of it was that it truly is its own world, and it's huge with money, with people, with passion and talent, and it's impressive, you know? It is massive, and it doesn't only have to be with competitive gaming. It can just be fucking, I don't know, World of Warcraft with the boys on a Saturday afternoon, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It is something that or Clash of Clans too. I mean, people play that for fun with their friends, like my little cousin. It's cool though. It really is. I have a question for you guys.
What's up?
Where do you guys see this podcast going in the next, if it take 3 years down the road, 3 or 5 years, whatever you guys want? What's your goal? Where do you guys see this? Do you want to? What do you guys want to do?
I could say something. So I think all of us can agree that we've been appreciating the Player 4 episodes, the episodes where we bring a guest on and talk to them and just learn more about them, learn more about the topic we're talking about. And for me, what I can see happening down the road is just increasing our knowledge and our appreciation for all kinds of things within the gaming world and entertainment. And anyone along the way who's been with us, who's been listening, they can learn with us, and it can just be a big group effort of all of us just having a good time. I mean, every time we sit down and record, it's just that, like Colin said, it's that time in our day or our week where we can just chill and talk, just have a good time. And I think that's the kind of vibe we want to keep throughout the next few years, is just keeping that good feeling. We don't want to have, I don't think we want to make this into some hardcore streaming channel where we have to stream on a schedule every day and get into that world. But I think the biggest thing is for us to just please our viewers and just have a good time.
Cool. Yeah,
For sure.
So, and like for me, in like 3 years from now, like if we do hit some sort of trend and some, like, say we get up to like 1,000 followers and whatnot, like a decent size, a decent group, I hope to be able to have more of these Player 4 episodes with people that we don't know, and that we're able to get to know people and their ways of life and what they're into and how they do things. Because like until today with you, we've only been stuck within our friend group and within our family group and within all that. So I think that's the big goal, is to be able to be with other people, not just ourselves, being able to talk with our followers, to being able to talk with others.
Yeah, definitely expanding your horizons for sure. And how about you, Soy Sauce, Mr. Sawyer?
Yeah. So when we started it, I don't know if you guys remember, but the very first thing I said, they brought me on later. They had another guy lined up, and I came on. And the first thing I said was, what are we gonna do different than anyone else? That, what can we do differently? And I think right now we're just in that learning phase. We're trying to understand what we like, And then another thing was, what I really enjoy about our podcast is we've had a lot of people on where one of us doesn't know a lot about that person's hobby or their interests, and we do what we call like convince me's, or basically Player 4s as well, where we learn about what they like and we ask them questions about it, like what makes it intriguing, why do you like it. And I love the response from my family and friends who tell me about it, and they're like, it was really cool learning about that, I've never thought about it. It's interesting hearing their perspective of why this thing is special. And I hope that we continue down that road a lot, of just learning about what people like and letting us and our viewers understand why people like certain things that maybe we didn't think was cool before or whatnot.
Yeah,
That's
we've
super
got
cool.
we've gotten some funny comments from our family and friends about some episodes. Like, didn't your dad ask you like how to set up his own Xbox so he could play with you or something?
Oh yeah. I was what was it? Oh, I was talking about Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass, and I was explaining how it was kind of like Netflix of video games, and he came up to me. Wow, dang it! What did he say? He's like, "What's this Game Pass thing?" And then a couple weeks later, he got an Xbox, and it's awesome.
Really?
Yeah, he has one.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Dude,
I didn't
have
tell
you
you
played
guys.
with him?
No, not yet. He's busy, but yeah. So I've already seen some people change their minds, or it's just cool to see people who listen who have good reactions, or their minds have changed, or something like that.
Mhm.
Where we've
So I know
been
you
able to
guys
have
are. So I know you guys are all somehow like related. You're all in some big family, and does your family pretty much like vibe with it? Do they think it's cool? Are they just kind of like whatever?
Yeah, for sure. A lot of our family supports it, and they'll comment about it. My dad, he listened to an episode about farming and some farming video games we mentioned, like Stardew Valley, Harvest Moon, and he listened to it on the tractor. So he really appreciated that. And I think one of my favorite things that I've heard from our audience is how they would tell us that they felt enticed to try or to play the topic we were talking about, like the Magic the Gathering card game. You know, a lot of people were saying like, "Oh, it makes me want to try it," or "It makes me want to get back into it," and just it feels good having that interaction with the audience and with the viewer, even if it's just a small audience right now. It still means a lot.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. Hey, if you guys can keep improving and I guess influencing people's lives in a positive way with whatever your guest says on here, or with whatever you guys recommend as a game, or whatever you guys say, I mean, I'd say it's a good foundation to have.
for sure.
I can definitely see that. By the way,
I like it a lot.
thumbs up. I'm holding my thumbs up, audience.
So I had an idea to what can make us special on streaming, and I was thinking I could show more skin. What do you think about that?
Dude, OnlyFans.com, baby.
Girls are taking advantage. I just feel like we can get the bear, what do you call it? The bear
Chesticles.
society.
Dude, you know who you remind me of? The dude from Milk Boys. I forgot his name. You look so much like him. So
Milk
maybe the
Boys?
skin thing would work,
Which one? Me?
Yeah,
Oh,
Sawyer.
What is that? Is
Maybe
that
the
a
skin thing would.
streamer?
Milk
Or-
Boys are like they do like these ridiculous pranks. Like they go over the top, but it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Like
I think I've seen one of their videos before. But
like
my
this,
my sister and my wife, they tell me I remind them of Cody Co sometimes. I don't know him, but
yeah,
just
like
my
that.
mannerisms or something.
They did a video with him, but they did this video, dude, and I was watching it on Instagram. It's so funny. It was like he walked up to this like foreign girl, like foreign exchange, like Russian girl or something, and he like asked for her number, and she says yes. And he's like, "Oh my god," she said yes, and like all these people, like this marching band, like runs out from this tent, this midget, like these hot like bottle girls run out, like sparklers, fireworks going off, all because this girl gave a number. I was like, "What the fuck, dude? That is so crazy." It's funny though. They do a lot of over the top shit, and it's great. But yeah, you look like one of them. That was,
Nice.
so yeah, maybe the showing more skin thing might actually boost the numbers.
Yeah.
Start an OnlyFans instead of a Twitch account. I mean,
Uh-huh. Hey.
Whatever.
Possibility.
feet fans.
So as we're getting close to the end-ish, we can go as long as we want though, but I was just curious, what does the future look like for you? Like what are your aspirations, goals? You've done a lot of stuff already as a young buck.
As a young buck. I'm trying to buy a house right now. Trying to buy a house in Phoenix. I have a couple really cool people that I want to move in with that are all about content in their own way. Some of them are in the video game scene, some are not. They just, And so I have a good friend base out there. I'll probably start looking for a girlfriend once I move out there. And honestly, esports was crazy. It was hectic. It was nonstop grind. And I mean, as much fun as that was, I kind of grew out of that. And so now I'm kind of like entering back into the stock market scene. And I'm really just trying to make smart investments and not necessarily help other people make smart investments because I don't want to control their money. I'm not like, a financial advisor, but show them how to do certain things, how to do things like trade a stock. What does that look like? And not influence their decisions, but allow them the knowledge in order to do that. And there's a way that I'm doing it right now where I'm basically charging people to enter a Discord group chat in order to enter under that sort of vibe and kind of trade alongside of me, as well as a couple other people that I've seen be very successful within trading. So that's kind of what I'm focused on right now, just growing that group, growing that kind of passive income stream, and really getting just moved to Arizona and trying to just kind of settle in. I think I'm at a great transition place in life right now, and I think some of my friends are too.
That's sick, man.
It's awesome. Well, do you have anything you'd like to shout out? Anything you'd like to plug?
I mean, I'll plug my Twitter. It's twitter.com/MindofAndrew. You guys can follow me on there. I don't actually tweet that much anymore, but my tweets usually comprise of something stock related or something pretty funny, where I'll roast somebody or something like that. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of my main social media junket. So,
Well, thank you so much for being on, Andrew. It is fun talking with you guys, and for sure go check it out. For sure go check it out Twitter. We'll have to talk with you again sometime. Catch up another time and maybe have a more straightforward topic other than just about you. It was really fun talking though.
I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for the invite. And it was honestly great getting to know you guys, talking about the stuff. And yeah, for sure, if you ever do want me on and you got a topic, I'm so down to talk about something other than myself, you know? And hey, you guys can always invite me back. And hey, one more thing is, if you want me to bring a friend next time, I'd totally do that. You know, someone who has a different kind of outlook on life, or, you know, maybe one of my female friends or one of my content creation friends or something like that. So just hit me up, and I really appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Sounds good.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, man. Thanks for sharing your story. I'll catch you barbarian fishing sometime.
Yes, sir. Keep advertising, boys. Stay real.
Yeah. All right. See you guys next week. Thanks.
See ya.
Deuces.
Bless you.